Hello, Sacral Beauties. Welcome to the She Sacral podcast, where we focus all on burnout recovery through the power of sacred pleasure. We've been talking all about the burnout archetypes and how your personality could be leading you into burnout even more. So if you're new to tuning in and you've never heard of the Myers-Briggs personality framework, or if you're a little unfamiliar with it, then be sure to tune into the first episode of this series, which will give you deeper insight. Today, we're going to dive in and talk about the ESTP personality type, which would be the burnout archetype, the fighter. If you've been in constant fight mode, forcing everything to work, and feeling like rest means failure, then this episode is for you. As an ESTP, you tend to be extroverted with the way that you draw in energy, relying on your senses to process information, a big thinker when it comes to making decisions, and perceiving in the way that you relate to structure and flexibility. Your sacred strengths as an ESTP is that you are bold, dynamic, and thrive under pressure. You bring energy and decisive action to spaces that need momentum. Your confidence and resourcefulness turn challenges into victories. So take a deep breath and honor that. Your fire is definitely sacred. But what happens when fight mode starts to become your whole identity? Your personality type may start to creep into burnout when you start doubling down on control instead of pausing when you feel exhausted, overcommitting to plans and projects and refusing to slow down, and saying yes to everything because action feels safer than stillness. Some clues your body may start to send you when you feel overworked for your personality type can look like headaches, a tight chest, shallow breathing, and tension in your body that never fully releases. So let's dive in a little deeper and talk about your nervous system pattern when it comes to burnout. We tend to have about 4 different survival coping mechanisms, which could be to fight, flight or flee, freeze, or fawn. But for your personality type, fight mode is in overdrive. Adrenaline is constantly pumping, and your body is stuck in go mode, even when the mind is begging for rest. Pausing can feel like danger, and action can feel like safety. Some core beliefs you may have may sound like, if I stop, everything will fall apart, or power means to push harder, or rest is weakness. Some root causes that may have shaped these beliefs is that in your childhood, you may have noticed that success means effort and achievement equals love. You may have been in an environment early on that rewarded quick action, but now as an adult, or being a little older, stillness feels unsafe. Generationally, there may have been a belief that you either hustle or you lose. A common fear for this personality type can look like a fear of losing control or momentum will lead you into feeling powerless or exposed. But strength isn't in endless pushing. It's in knowing when to let life hold you. Surrender doesn't weaken your power, it expands it. Let's go in a little bit deeper on how this may affect your body. You may feel tightness in your chest, experience cortisol headaches, restless energy, or poor sleep. Hormonally, you may experience adrenal burnout, which will cause irregular cycles and energy crashes. Our adrenal glands are responsible for releasing that adrenaline into our bodies. So because you're in constant fight mode, it's constantly releasing that adrenaline. It's constantly preparing you to fight. And cortisol is going to be really high in your body. And this can create an imbalance because, especially for women, we're not designed to handle large amounts of stress. In fact, it depletes our reproductive hormones so much that it can cause for our bodies to truly be completely out of balance. When it comes to your sacral energy, creativity, and sensuality start to dim because your body is locked in survival mode. Common burnout habits for this personality type can look like forcing those outcomes instead of letting things unfold, overcommitting to maintain control, resisting rest because it feels unproductive, saying yes reflexively without checking energy levels. So how we can get stuck in this burnout trap is when you start forcing outcomes instead of allowing things to come towards you. And you start saying yes to everything just so that you can stay in control without allowing for the magic to happen. It's kind of like trying to force a plant to grow. We can't force a plant to grow. We can nurture it, we can water it, we can provide the sun, we can provide all the best things to help it thrive, but we can't force it to grow. We have to allow for it to do what it's going to do. So if you're wondering, how did I get here? A prime example can look like maybe you agree to 3 projects this week, thinking you can handle it all, but now you haven't slept in 2 days. And it takes time to get the body back in balance. So a good micro ritual for you to do is to have a little question time with yourself before taking action. Each morning, ask yourself, where can I flow over fighting? Another pleasure ritual you can do is to create a nice little 10-minute soft landing after work. Maybe dim some lights, do some gentle breath work, or practice some slow and sensual stretching to tell your body it's safe to pause. And you're absolutely invited and welcome to join us in our Lavender Flow Pilates board exercises on Saturdays on YouTube. Now you may find yourself saying, I'm actually a little bit more withdrawn or introverted than this. Then be sure to tune into the introverted version of this personality type, which would be the ESTP or the silent burner. There could be some great information for you there as well. Now, there's nothing wrong with craving momentum because I know you love action, but life isn't a battlefield. Surrender isn't failure. It's actually a sacred form of strategy. So start by finding one place today where you can release control. And if you're looking for more tools or ways to step into sacred pleasure, then activate your 30 days of pleasure rituals and join us inside the She Sacral community at shesacral.com. And if you're looking for more one-on-one support, then you can also book a session with me as well, where we'll dive in deeper to your burnout archetype, along with figuring out what stage of burnout you may be in. This concludes today's episode. Thank yourself so much for showing up today, and thank you for tuning in to the She Sacral podcast.